Hi guys, in this video I'm going to talk about formulas in Excel and using them. You're going to be using them a lot if you use Excel. Before we get into that, go to excelvbasequel.com. You can watch over 20 hours of free videos. Put your email in here and you can be emailed when new free videos go up, and contact me here if you have any questions. Okay, let's get started. So let's go to Excel. I'm going to go to the Start menu, go to, this time I'll go to All Programs and go to Microsoft Office folder. Click on your version of Excel and you get a workbook like this, right? So the workbook comes up and I want to enter a formula, but I don't see the formula bar. If you don't know what the formula bar is, go watch the first video in lesson 1. The formula bar is not here, and you're probably wondering, where is it at? So you need to go to, if this ever happens to you, which it can happen, go to View on the View tab and go to Formula Bar and select it. And now here you have your formula bar. So I think that happened to me. I'm not sure exactly why. I think I might have deleted it or made the formula bar hidden in some other calculation I was doing. So if that ever happens, go to the view, and that's where you can reset and have the formula bar show up right there where it says show here. Okay, so let's start talking about formulas. The simplest formula is what you have learned in math and when you were in school, like 1 plus, so I'm just typing in the cell, 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. That's a formula. You also saw things in math like this, x plus y. So these use numbers, right? Integers. And that's a formula. It uses all numbers and you get 1 plus 1 equals 2. Whereas down here you use variables like x plus y is equal to something. 2, let's say. And then you've also seen some formulas that are like this, x plus 1. So that are mixed, that use formulas or that use variables like x and use numbers like 1 and they mix. So a formula can be all numbers, it can be all variables, or it can be a mix, right? In Excel, it's the same sort of thing, where if you want to build a formula, so let me erase this. I'm going to highlight that, clear contents. If you want to build a formula, all you do is you go to the cell, you click on the cell, and you could do it a couple ways. You can go right to the formula bar and you could just do equals 1 plus 1 and you hit enter, and that's going to give you 2. Notice when you're in school, you do the same sort of thing, right? You just do 1 plus 1. So it's very simple. It's very easy to understand. Similarly, in school, when we were using variables like x plus y, here in Excel you can now reference other cells, and that's what you're going to be using in the formula bar. So let's say here's a simple formula, but let's say I want to now reference this formula. So in this cell, what I want to do is go equals this cell A1 plus 4, or I'll do 2, and you hit enter. So this is a formula in Excel. So this formula here uses all numbers, and it's 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. And this formula here doesn't use all numbers. It's mixed. It uses an address, right? And that's pretty much the basics of formulas. You can either use all numbers or you can use addresses of other cells. So what we want to do now is, let's add a couple cells. So these formulas are pretty easy because it's basically just like you did in school. 1 plus 1 minus 4 plus 8. If you want to multiply something, you use this this asterisk here. You use that to multiply things. And if you want to divide things, you use the forward slash. So this is very easy way of writing formulas just like you did in school, and this could go on forever. You could enter multiple terms here in the formula and just keep going. Plus 9 times 100, and you press enter and you get a value. So these formulas are real simple. They're the simplest ones in Excel. It's just like a calculator. You do pluses and minuses, you do multiplication with your asterisk, you do division with your forward slash. If you want to do an exponent, you can do this this little caret here. That's called the exponent, and if you do that, that's an exponent. So if we do this, if we do equals 2 exponent 2, that's an exponent. What else? Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, for the basics of this video, for just basic formulas, here's your basic formula. You could do multiple terms. It's just like a calculator: plus, minus, multiplication here, division here, and exponentiation here. So that's a very simple, the simplest form of an Excel formula. Here you're using references to cells in the worksheet. And this is what you're going to be doing most of the time when you're working in Excel, is you're going to be referencing other cells. So using these formulas, it's very easy. It's just as easy as what we just saw, only you're going to reference cells. So let me erase this. And now I'm going to put some numbers in here, 100, 35, and I'm just pressing enter and entering some numbers. Okay, so I have some numbers here. Now we want to create a formula that adds up all these numbers, referencing the cells. So doing it not the simplest way, by entering numbers, by entering the cells. And I'll show you why you do it by entering the cell addresses. So there's two ways to do it, right? We just saw we could go in here and we could enter equals, and then you click on this cell, A1, and then you could put a plus sign, A2, and then you could put another plus sign, A3, and another plus sign, A4, and then you hit enter, and there's your total, right? So let me just insert a column. So I'm going to insert a column by clicking on the column and then right-clicking and going down to insert, and there's a new column. And I'm just going to put total here. So now this formula, B1 plus B2 plus B3 plus B4, it references the cells B1, B2, B3, B4. And notice what Excel does for you. It makes them color coordinated so that when you type B1, it puts a blue border around cell B1. When you type B2, it puts a green border around B2, and B3 is purple and B4 is red. Now these colors they're not always the same, but the concept is, and what the functionality is, that there'll always be some color coordination of the terms in your formula and the borders that you're going to see when you go into the formula bar. So you have to click on the formula bar to see that sort of color matching up of the term and where's it at on the sheet, which is cool. It's very easy to see now what you're doing. Now we can try to see why is it better to do it this way, where you reference the address of the cell versus the actual number. And it's better because in Excel it's real easy to recalculate this total down here now. Instead of going in here and let's say I want to change this 200 to 1,000. Well, it's real easy to just go in here and type 1,000 and watch what happens. This total is going to change. Similarly, if I want to change this 35 to 1,000, that total automatically changes. This is called automatic recalculation. So these references are staying the same, and it allows me to change any of these numbers down here and have this total stay. This total is going to recalculate automatically. So that's why you want to usually in Excel, like 90% of the time, you're going to be using these references to cells, because it's powerful, because you can automatically recalculate things. If this changes to 500, that total down there changes to 500. That's why. But it doesn't say that you can't enter constant terms like we saw in the beginning of this video. You could have a formula like this: all these cells plus any number. So now my formula looks like this: a bunch of references to cells, I'm summing them up, plus a constant term 30. So your formulas can contain references, or they can contain constants, and the order of these things, they don't need to go in order, in any order. It doesn't matter. You could, if you wanted to, you could change anything around. You could do, I want B4 and then I want B1. It doesn't matter. The order of stuff doesn't matter. It's just this formula is very flexible. Even if you wanted to insert the plus 30 over here, you could do that. So you could see this way of ordering it from B1 to B4 plus 30 gives you the same answer as this way. So the order of that, of where you put in your terms, doesn't matter if you're doing a simple formula like this. So what other things can we do in these formulas? Well, we saw originally in the first part of the video that you can do addition, you could do subtraction, you could do multiplication, you could do division here. You can do exponentiation by doing the caret and then putting in a number. And if you don't know what this is, that's just 30 times 30 times 30 times 30. It's just you multiply 30 4 times, and it's just a shorthand way of doing it. So you could do all these kinds of operators on your use them in your formulas. Okay. So, and to just show you what that exponentiation is, I'll just do this. I'll do equals 2 times 2, and that gives you 4. Or you can do this: equals 2 raised to the second power, and you get 4. So that's exponentiation here. And I'll highlight that if you don't know what that is about. Similarly, if you do 2 times 2 times 2, that's equivalent to doing 2 to the raised to the third power, which is going to give you 8. So that's exponents. Here's your formulas up here. Okay, so we saw that we can do multiple terms in our formulas. We can do addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, exponentiation. There's a bunch of more stuff that you can do. This is good for now. In terms of mathematical calculations, there's like square roots, and in that case you're going to have to use a function, but we'll get into that in another video. For just basic mathematical operations, this is it. All you need to know. One other thing you need to know, though, is the order of operations. So let's say I have scores here. So I'm going to insert a row. I'm going to go insert. I'm going to name this value score, and I'm just going to put game 1 here and game 2 here. Notice what Excel is doing, though. When I type the letter G, originally, let me go back to that. I'll show you something in case you haven't seen this. If you type in the letter G here, this autocomplete function in Microsoft Excel, it looks in this column and it says, okay, what begins with G? And I'm going to autocomplete this text for you. So it's sort of smart. It's very smart, Excel. It knows what other things are in the column, and it wants to save you time typing. So that's why this thing happened here, this little pop-up. Or this text came in where I didn't type it. Now if you want to change it, you could just click on it and change it to game 2. And then if I start dragging this down, Excel is smart enough to know that there's an order sequence here, and it'll add to game 3, game 4. Okay, so let's say I have some scores here, and let's say my first score is 50, second score is 30, third score is 20, and fifth score is 100. And these are, it's like a basketball game, or I don't know, something. And let's say you want to do an average, right? So what is the average of those scores? Well, it's adding up all those scores like this. You can do now. Originally, we typed in the. Oh no, we didn't. Originally we were just selecting ourselves like this, and we were doing B2 plus B3 plus, click on B4 plus B5, and that's our total. I'm going to insert another row down here, and now I want the average, and this is going to bring up one point about using formulas. So the average of these scores is just going to be the total divided by 4, right? So what is the total? Well, the total is this same formula here. So I'm just going to copy this. I'm going to do Control C. I'll go down here and do equals and then Control V. So now I have an average here that is going to be the total of this divided by 4. But here's the whole point of what I want to get to, is you need parentheses around this whole quantity. B2, B3, B4 plus B5. You need parentheses, because if you don't put parentheses, the average is 50, but if I don't put parentheses, then I get a different answer. I get 125, which is not the average of those numbers here. The average is 50, and you could see that using parentheses is correct. So there's parentheses are important because it allows you to group terms in a formula and allows you to calculate things the proper way. If you're familiar with math, you know something about the order of operations. So here's the order of operations, and the order of operations in Excel is the same as it is in regular mathematics. So it is parentheses are first, and then exponentiation, and then multiplication and division, and then addition and subtraction. I'm going to put a apostrophe here because I want that to be text. So this is important as well when you're dealing with formulas in Excel. This is called the order of operations. So what does this mean? Well, this means if you do something like this, if you have a formula and it looks like this, equals 2 plus 5 divided by plus let's say 10 divided by 5. This means what is it going to do first? The first thing it's going to do is divide 10 by 5, because the order of division comes before addition. So it divides 10 by 5 and you get 2. And then it takes 2 and it adds it to the other 2, which you get 4. Now if I put parentheses around this, then the order of operations is going to do the parentheses, whatever's in parentheses first. So it's going to do 2 plus 10 first, which is going to be 12, and then it's going to divide by 5. So it does parentheses first, and then it divides by 5 here, and you get an answer of 2.4. Let's do this. Let's do 2 exponent 2. So what is it going to do first here? Well, it's going to do whatever is in parentheses. And what is in parentheses? It's going to go to this term here first, and then it's going to do whatever's in the order of operations inside the parentheses, which is going to be the exponent. So here you're going to get 14, or you're going to get 4, because it does the exponent first, 2 times 2, plus 10. So that's 14 divided by 5, and that's going to be 2.8. And you'll see that if you do 14 divided by 5, you get 2.8. So that's the order of operations. It's important to know what the order of operations in Excel is. It's exactly the same as what you've seen in your schooling, hopefully, which is, parentheses come first, and then exponents, and then multiplication and division, and then addition and subtraction. So you could start building huge formulas here that include parentheses, 7 divided by 8, 7 divided by 9, plus 5, plus 50, exponent 4, divided by 80. I mean, you're gonna, if you're using this to do calculations, you're gonna have to be using parentheses, or else you're gonna run into problems. So just keep that in mind. Okay, I just wrote in some crazy numbers here, but the idea is to get you to look at these formulas and see what's happening. Is that there's parentheses involved, and there's exponents involved, and then you're dividing things and multiplying things, and they all follow these order of operations. So I'll delete this. So be familiar with that. If you're not familiar with that, of these orders, then if you type something like this, you might be wondering, why did the answer come out like it did? If we do this, 10 plus 5. So you might be wondering, why did the answer come out like it did here? Why is it 15? Well, it's because the first thing it did is it did this exponents. It did 2 times 2, which is 4. The next thing it did is evaluated this division thing, which gave 5 divided by 5. So now you have, after it did the first one, you have 4 plus 10 plus 5 divided by 5. And then it does the division. So you get 4 plus 10 plus 1. And 4 plus 10 plus 1 is 15. So you definitely want to be aware of the order of operations in Microsoft Excel. Okay, so that's all I wanted to show you for this video. It's just an introduction to formulas and using references to cells in formulas. Notice the color coordination. Notice that you can use constants, and notice that you can do all these different operations: exponents, multiplication and division. I should do a simple one here. You could do you could do this. So here's what you can do. You can do exponents, you could do addition, you could do subtraction, you could do multiplication and division. And that's what I wanted to show you here. And also that you could use constants in formulas, and you can use references to cells and formulas, and then always keep in mind your orders of operations. So when you're dealing in Excel, keep all this in mind. It's really not too difficult. And then in terms of one last thing to summarize the video, to enter the formula, you could either click on a cell and click and start typing equals 80 plus whatever, or you can just click on a cell and go to the formula bar. So that's it for this video, just an introduction to formulas in Microsoft Excel. If you have questions about any of this, go to excelvbasql.com and go to the contact page and send me an email, and I'll try to answer your questions. Thanks. Bye.